Socks? Check. It's seen better days for sure. I should use my provisions wisely. It'll be a long journey. A bolt cutter is a pretty useless gadget if you think about it. Why did I plan to take it along? Toothbrush. Check. Socks? Check. Provisions? Check. Bolt cutter, for whatever reason. Check. Ha! Seems like I've packed everything. Oh, I can't close it anymore. Seems like I've got to unpack something. But what? I'll never be able to close the suitcase with a monster like that in there. I mean, I won't need a bolt cutter where I'm going. I wonder why it was on the list in the first place. Now it sits. Packed and ready to go. I think I just strained something.
Hey, Rufus, you should save your energy for the unavoidable drop into the abyss.
Yeah, thanks, Wenzel. You can save your sarcasm for someone less well-prepared than me. This time, I took everything into account. It'll be a stroll in the park.
Ah, that's what you said last time. It took us days to remove the cactus spikes from your butt, remember?
That's all toxic runoff under the bridge. This time, everything will work out. And when finally an Elysian orbit pixie massages my back, I'll ask her to pause for a minute so I can laugh about you.
Whatever. But say, can I have your stuff when you're gone?
Yeah, sure, help yourself. As if anything on this dump is valuable. It's time for me to leave all this behind.
Great. I hope you remembered to calibrate the harpoon.
I'll do that later, after I've stored everything in the pod.
Well, then hurry up. Well, you know that the Organon are always on time.
So, after we've puzzled through the first hurdles of packing a suitcase, we can now play Rufus' first escape attempt towards Elysium, leaving behind this heap forever. Yeah, well, the weather forecast spent us over in that one. We were told there would be rain in this scene, and as a matter of fact, I always planned this scene to take place in the rain. I actually also found an old character design of Tony standing in a puddle on the screen, wearing a heavy raincoat. The smoke she always has in the corner of her mouth is just as soaked as she is, all dripping and bent. And by the way, Tony's character is roughly inspired by Doris Day. Yeah, the more you know.
I gotta make room for my luggage somehow. There, and now? There, now where shall I put it? There we go. I might be able to do without this. No problem. Oh, crap. It's screwed tight. If I remove the seat, it might just fit, but how's it going to be attached? And more importantly, where shall I sit? my trusty wrench. I wonder why this wasn't on the list. Well, never mind. Trusty Wenzel. I wonder how he's gonna cope without me. I should send him a postcard. Hey, Wenzel, still stuck in no man's land? It's your own fault, dunce. Yeah, something along those lines. Hey, Wenzel.
What's up?
Any signs of the Organon yet?
Nope, but they'll be here. The Organon are always on time. It's no accident that we set the town hall clock by them.
Do you also think there are boundless riches in Elysium?
Don't know. I'm happy with what I got.
Yeah, but I will have so much more. Aw, poor Wenzel. And do you also think that no one has to work in Elysium?
Just a moment. You're not even working now.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm meant to be up there. And don't you think the Elysian women are the most beautiful of all?
I've never really understood why Tony and you aren't together anymore.
Yeah, well, that's why you'll be rotting in this forsaken hole forever. I deserve better than having to listen to lectures about my laziness and my unreliability all the time. What else do you know about the Organon?
Just as little as you.
So that's really nothing.
Exactly. Their motives are as unclear as our water. Good thing they leave us alone.
See you later, Wenzel. You've always been a loyal companion, my friend, my helper, my sidekick.
I was your sidekick? I always thought you were my sidekick.
What? I guess you're probably sad that you can't come along, but let's not get sentimental.
No fear of that. At least you promised me all your stuff.
A small consolation for such an enormous loss. About the plan.
Are there any problems?
Problems? No. The plan is perfect. But where shall I put the battery?
Well, I told you the seat is taking up too much space.
Yeah, but you're quite the mumbler, too.
Whatever you say. Anything else?
Now, what happens when I've got the pod ready?
We wait for the Organon cruiser. As soon as it's here, you light the fuse and jump into the cockpit. You have calibrated the harpoon, right?
Not yet, but there'll be plenty of time for that.
If you say so.
All right. Pack, calibrate, light fuse, and I'll launch myself into the upper spheres.
Well, at least there's a chance that the magnet will hit the cruiser. But
no buts. This time, everything will work. I'll show you. I'll show everybody.
It will be a spectacle. No doubt. Any other problems?
This time, it'll work out. I just know it.
Sure, Rufus. Of course.
No problems. Why?
Of course not. Of course. How could I ever think such a thing?
I'll go back to work then.
You better do that. You haven't got much time left.
And here we are in the front of Tony's home. I can comment a bit on the visuals. This is in fact the first screen created for Deponia at all. I even made the first version myself, and thus the very first asset for the game. Yeah, my first version of the screen, Etna style though. Back then, to the left was a pretty huge tire heap under the plateau with the tunnel leading to the town center. No, wait, actually the heap was on the right, and left was a pile of old ET cartridges. At the time, I read somewhere of the story that the Atari developers who created the ET console game, dumped all remaining copies in the desert somewhere, as the game did exceptionally poor. This story was so hilarious that I had to give it a friendly nod into the screen while I was still thinking maybe I will do the screens myself again. That never happened, and I'm actually quite happy about this. Since we recruited Michael Benrath. No. I already worked with him together on a licensed game called 1.5 Nights, basically the second Daedalic game. Or was it the third after Whispered World? Before Whispered World? Yeah, before Whispered World, yeah, right. There he also did the background, and I was convinced that he's exactly the right person for drawing the cartoony backgrounds for a world like Deponia. And indeed, we were lucky to have him on board, and that he brought along enough time and motivation to work with us for several years. In fact, Micha was the first and only one on the team sitting in one room with me for roughly 1 year when I fleshed out the complete concept for Deponia. So it was supposed to be one single game, the complete journey, so to speak, until we realized that the whole thing was way too huge for only one game, and we eventually had to split it into 3 parts. Another remarkable thing about this screen is that I noticed how alarmingly committed our animators are. We were on a rather strict timetable in regards of animation, despite our long to-do list to breathe life into Deponia. And it was here that an animator worked on a mailbox, and she was just supposed to give it a quick animation. It even was listed as a nice to have, as it was just a standard youth wrench with mailbox situation. We usually solve things like that with standard animations, at least in older titles. But for some reasons it ended up on her list, so she made this very elaborate animation where Rufus sent that mailbox flying and caught it in his phone. All I thought was, wow, I want stuff like this for the whole game. And that's where the true insanity of Deponia started. Awesome. From a scripter's point of view, this room is really interesting as well as a perspective of this bridge. It's quite a challenge for a 2D adventure engine. You see, Rufus moves forward while walking down the bridge and still moves forward when he walks up that bridge again. That means moving the character along the y-axis has him walk to the front until he hits the middle, and then he moves to the back or the north of the screen. And that's something Visionaire, our engine, is not designed to do. That made this a very, very difficult screen scripting wise. We tried a lot, actually did a redraw of the screen to polish it as much as possible. Very interesting screen, right in the beginning. What an introduction.
Tony always had weird tastes concerning flowers. Ouch! Hot! A saddle-shaped box. A classic. No problem. Oh, crap! It's screwed tight. A saddle-shaped box. A classic.